just opening up chat real quick on my phone, and then I will be in the fun again. We did win, like, I genuinely don't think we won. I think you're right. I think we legit only won 2 fights. But hey, I mean, it's a start. I'll take it. Just turn down the sound, because I'm gonna be mellow. And yeah.
Welcome to Oasis. Ready for battle.
Okay. Chat is finally open on my phone.
5, 4, 3.
So my guess here is what happened is we either had people left behind who weren't able to have impact fast enough, or oh, never mind, this was a pinned replay. Here we go, back to pin, and pin. I'm gonna get rid of these. So my guess is my best guess for what happened is probably that it was a lot of micro errors that we had that stacked up. Because like with Brawl, it's a lot more about resource management. Like with Spam, it's a lot more about the angles, which is why I always emphasize it. But with Brawl, it's like stick together and then manage your resources correctly. So while I'm not able to catch a lot of that from like the overhead view that I usually do, because I do more strategic coaching in macro than micro, but my guess is we had a lot of micro errors that add up from us being plats rather than diamonds, and just in general we don't have the resources that we need to win the fights. Yeah, I mean, here it isn't a drain resources game, it's you have to burst your resources in a more efficient manner than the enemy team. And I just don't think we're very good at allocating the resources like they should. So here, like in this Brawl, I'm going to look a lot more at micro than I usually do. So it's going to be a lot less angles and probably a lot more who lost what too early. So this is fine. I think I blocked the hack. Yeah, so there's that slight bit of miscommunication there, where I go forwards a little too far and then get picked off. Let's see. I want to look at my shield management here. So I flickered to block the hack. But see, yeah, I shouldn't have taken that one step forward was my mistake. And then Aeon needed to bubble me there. Yeah, so that was just kind of an unfortunate. With the stack up, if he had bubbled me, it probably would have been winnable. we needed either amp heals or amp speed. I don't think either of those went through.
Allow me to repair. Get into position. Oh, turn it up.
Yeah, it happened too late. The amp heals was when the fight was already lost. Yeah, usually I would want the speed amped on the engage too.
I require assistance.
Where did Spectre's orb go already?
Be right back.
See, he's way too wide, and then orb was fine, I guess, but then he started, like, he needed to just be healing there. I'm not gonna look at Aftershock because what he does doesn't really matter. Same with Rex. Like, they're just gonna be M1ing and hacking and whatever. It's a lot less dynamic. But basically, like, the problem there is, like, it's just like a bunch of tiny little microaggressions that add up, because the problem with Brawl is that you can't, the people who use their resources first and use their resources in a burst are the ones who win. So if we like go here and we don't actually like commit hard on our resources, nothing's gonna happen because they're committing hard on theirs and using them all, and then they win. Like, let me show something a little more enticing, is showing what their Rhino's gonna be doing. Shield botting for the Reaper. They have the heal orb in a good bouncing location. Playing the corners. They got the bubble. Didn't get hacked. And then just run it over.
This is my will.
Brawl is like, I feel like it's kind of hard to critique from a macro perspective. Because with Brawl, generally, it's like, okay, did you route to the enemy team? Then you did it correct. And then once you're at the enemy team, it's all just dictated by group micro, basically. Like, we keep saying that it's communications breakdown, but the problem is there's a lot less comms than you think that you need in Overwatch. Like, a spam comp doesn't need targets called when both of their DPS can pretty easily solo kill the enemy squishies. And a dive comp needs some targets, but there's a lot less communication than you would think needs to happen. While we still do have some comms breakdown, I think. I think the bigger thing is we're just frankly worse as individual players, and then it adds up and cumulatively as a team, and that's it. Like, I know for a fact that my micro is not really that good in game. Like, I waste abilities a lot, especially on like some heroes like Zarya or Rhine, and then I don't have them when I need. But then on the flip side, my positioning is very, very good because I study a lot of macro. So everyone has their weaknesses and strengths, like between mechanics and positioning and timing, and it kind of flips together to form a custom profile of where you're really awful at. Yeah, right here, we needed to just be out, honestly. Like, we wanted to get charge and wanted to keep up the momentum. But then, like, there's, like, look at this, we're engaging so slowly. I mean, it was at 0.75 speed, I guess, but, like, the problem is these guys need to be already out here with me. Like, this tiny bit of gap is too big. There can't be this gap. Reaper needs to be on top of me. Same with Moira and Lucio. Like, we can't let this happen. Because even if I had countercharged this, which would have been a better play by me, I would still be getting shot in the back and rushed by their whole team, and my team would still be in the doorway coming out. And we were just sluggish with it. We're not very practiced with it. Like, we need to, like, just practice, like, running around or something in maps as a team or something stupid like that. just to get for the feel of quick rotations. Like amp no cooldown, just run around as a team, and then see how close together we stayed. Sounds pretty fun, actually. Aftershock needs to be farming for EMP more here. I mean, it looks like he's been doing okay, but until we're actually engaging, which I don't think we were because the Moira was coalescing, he could pretty much just be farming for EMP. Like, their Sombra has a 10% advantage, which is actually pretty small considering that they won the fight. But I feel like Aftershock maybe could have gone a little more. I don't know. It's kind of neither here nor there. Mark's kind of, I don't love that spot, because even if he has to Wraith out, he has to Wraith out in the wrong. Okay, never mind. Yeah, this is kind of the thing of kiting back just doesn't work. We should have just ballsed to the walls it, and as soon as they came in this room, we should have just slammed into them and hoped for the best. But like, look at, like, this. This is doing nothing. He's been doing nothing for the past 10 seconds as they run in. He could have chased them, shooting at them, and then translocated back out here and have 10% more ult charge and be in the same position. Or he could have even probably flipped point by the time they got back. So, I don't know. Like, there's more options for the Sombra, I think, than we've been using so far. See, like this? None of this. He's not... We're rotating. By the time we were out of spawn, he could have gotten another 5% ult charge. And then we would be right here. Only. And then he would have already been translocated back to a safe location down here. Like, there's no... There's very little cost to poking a little bit extra on the Sombra. So that was a great hack, but then Spectre is too passive. Like, what is he doing back here? He's not on top of the Rhine. Everyone needs to be on top of the Rhine. Everyone needs to be on top of the Rhine. There's no sustain here going in now, and Reaper can just Death Blossom from behind and run everyone over. And by the time he wraiths in, Dogtur's dead on the front line. Oh, and really, as soon as Spectre saw the Wraith coming in from the Reaper, we should have just thrown Beat down in the first place. Doesn't matter if they still have Grav, if you're gonna lose the fight anyways, because of a Death Blossom. If we had popped Coalescence at the start, we probably could have prevented the Reaper from trying to Wraith in the first place. If we had popped a Beat, we probably could have done that. Like, it's like, obey the main tank is it's a fundamental rule of Overwatch. Be on top of the main tank and brawl. Like, literally riding his back. And like, I got a charge there, but it's already super lost. Like, we have 4 people here, we're all on critical, and we have no healers. If Spectre and and Doctor had been playing in with us, we probably would have been able to just run them over right here, in all honesty. Because we had all our ults. We have a huge ult advantage. We have literally 6 ults, and they had 1 that they used. They beat us with 1 ult when we had 6. We didn't use any ults, but we should have, because now it's going to be 70% by the time we can contest points, if at all. And then I didn't read that both of our supports were dead, so I went for a stupid shatter on their Zarya, which was, once again, stupid. Yeah, see, by now it's like a panic push almost. We get 1 more push, and we're pushing into EMP now, which is even worse. Because EMP is the 1 ult that can override having 5 ults, 6 ults if I hadn't used Shatter, but wouldn't really have made any difference. Yeah, we're slow mentally and physically. Yeah, that's it. We're squishy. We're like little pillow panda stuffed animals. And because we're out of practice, we haven't trained to be... Like, we're like, to put it harshly, we're like the overweight guys going out and doing their exercise and trying to like do like a hard cardio or something, and it's like, well, great, but we haven't actually trained to do the hard cardio. And I'm kind of assuming that we can and knowing the form that we can, but really none of us are physically fit enough or mentally fit enough to pull it off as a team. And I mean, that's fine. We're going into this tournament
Score.
as that exercise and kind of to close that gap, hopefully.
Ready for battle.
But it's something that we have to think on in the future.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm trying to keep this VOD review pretty quick, just because I don't want the video to be way too long. It's like right here. Where, like, why aren't we all here? Right? Like I'm sitting here and Aeon is DPSing. I shouldn't have jumped up. I needed to trust the supports more with keeping me up. But then, like, I feel like there needs to be more communication of, like, I got you, and playing on top of me, because suddenly our front line falls as soon as I jump out, because it just, we're not playing brawly enough. We're playing, like, it's like when you clump together the dry sand, like the sort of dry sand, and it kind of falls apart in your hand instead of being like the nice sandcastle sand where it stays clumped together. This is already lost. I'm gonna try and cover all 3 maps probably. Maybe I'll skip Numbani. Yep, see, I'm too early. I got beaten up. Our supports haven't even turned the corner. Or Doctor and Aeon. Aeon should have already been here matrixing me or communicating. Or I should have checked that he wasn't there and then known that. Because, like, look, I'm already disengaging and being severely damaged. And then Spectre's frontlining because I'm not on the front line. But right off the bat, this whole stage was frankly already lost because we're playing Monkey Dive into Rhine Brawl, or Monkey Brawl into Rhine Brawl, and that's already like such a hard losing matchup that unless you're really good on the Monkey Brawl, you're gonna lose. Like, you're just straight up gonna lose every time. I tried it because I'm way better on Monkey than I am on Rhine, but I pretty much counted this match out as a loss from the start because we lost the first one, and then clearly I knew Ryan wasn't going to work because he's just not a comfortable pick for me, and therefore Monkey isn't going to work either against the Brawl. So it's pretty much a hope of bide time until we can get on a full dive or a full spam. And a full dive isn't going to work here. What we should have done maybe on this map is we could have played Pharah, honestly, here. Or the Ball Diva Tracer. It's like something with like a little more spam power. I'm not even looking at this fight because like I said, I already counted as a loss. We aren't skilled enough on the Monkey Brawl dive to make it a worthwhile counter pick there. Well, it isn't a counter pick, it's just a loss.
Rialto.
Yeah, feel free to drop any questions in chat. I know I'm kind of speed boosting this, but
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
so that's exactly the thing. You hit the nail on the head right there. Because the whole reason that I set out these comps is that we haven't been practicing actual comps, and we haven't been getting coached on actual comps, and therefore we're not going to know how to play any comps. We're just a ladder group pretty much. Like right now we're playing no better than a random team of people on ladder playing a synergistic comp but not knowing actually how to play it. So it's kind of a twin issue between really the absence of legitimate coaching, because like I can try and clog up the leaky boat a bit, but really I'm not an experienced team coach, and I don't really want to have to be put into that position on a team that I'm on. And then the inconsistency in comps, like that's like trying to ride a different bicycle, or like a bicycle that's like a foot of different height off the ground every time you do it. It's like, well, it's gonna make it so much harder to figure out to ride a bike. And then what if you have to switch to a skateboard? Then it's even harder. Like the different comps are like different vehicles or whatever, and you're for driving different vehicles every time, different versions of the same. Like it just, you can't learn something by playing something different every time, because then you have to learn the concepts, and we're clearly not learning the concepts either. I think it'll be easier for you guys to learn specific comps and specific heroes than it is to learn the concepts, because to learn the concepts you have to be very much strategy minded, and I don't know if everyone on the team is necessarily interested in that. Like, I can play whatever because I have a lot of the strategy understood across the board, but so like this is all great so far, except that Aftershock needs to be here, because this is where I was saying that he needs to be, on the right. Because look at this. Look at this. Look at this. 3 squishies and a monkey all up there. That's a ridiculous amount of damage. It's free low. It's just straight up free low. Aeon and Rex are fine. Usually on Ashe I'd play a little closer to the cover, but for the simplicity of it, it's fine to have him on main. Yeah, it's 20% ult shot in like one shot. Spectre's fine, he's rotating in. I'm kind of just doing whatever on ball. Doing ball things. So Spectre made it to cover, so that's good. He's in a good position right now. But like, Rex? What's this angle doing? Like, he gets a bit of the tank line there, but he's not looking for tank line. No one cares about the tank line on this. The tank line literally does not matter. That is what matters. Those 2 dudes sitting out there in the open. And he is sitting in the open, which makes him a pretty easy dive target if their monkey and D.Va actually did come down. So it's like, But like, once again, look at this. He, like, Aftershock now, he has this angle, but it's a lot more dangerous now because there's he has nowhere to hide. If he was here, look at this vertical cover. He has this huge vertical cover that he can peek in and out of, and even like right here, this like jumbled little triangle. He could get so much value off of these shots just hovering over this building, or even if he took the long rotation out to this vertical cover. The Ana's toast. She can't focus on healing the team, and then their monkey is going to be under so much pressure from me and Aeon that it's free low. Spectre went a little too wide. I would rather he just kind of stays here. Doesn't really make a difference though. Anywhere, as long as he's like near Aeon and under cover.
Landing.
But like, we could be on so much more aggressive of angles right now, because look at this, look at this, look at this. All the attention of the team is all on me and Aeon. Everyone is staring at us, and that's exactly what this comp wants to do. This is the only person staring in main. So guess what? If Rex was here and was the one that Ashe was staring at, and then Aftershock was over here, well, the Ashe certainly can't stare at both. Wait, where are the birds? Hold up. What? Oh, do you mean these guys? Wait, no. These guys? Wait, what? I thought there was like a... Oh yeah, those are my parakeets. I let them out for a little bit of late night stretch break. Like, their monkey drops so low, and he is getting all the healing in the world because these guys are under no pressure in the back, which is what needs to be happening. Because like look at this angle. Everyone's on the same angle. I know I sound so stupid saying angle, angle, angle over and over again, but we're playing spam comps. That's what we're trying to do. And yeah, there's probably micro errors from everyone. Like I could say like, gee, I wasted my adaptive shields here, or gee, Spectre wasted a sleep dart. But really, those things don't make or break a comp. The fundamentals of how you play the comp are what make or break the comp. It's just, that's just how it is. If you're in the right spots and doing things at the right time, it's not going to matter if you miss a couple shots. It's rarely going to matter if you miss a couple of abilities or misuse a couple of abilities. You can usually win it up until, frankly, probably Masters or like High Diamond or Masters off of positioning and timing alone. And look at this. This monkey is getting healed up for free here. If we had Aftershock up here, there's nowhere he can hide. The Ashe can't hide. She's in an awful position here. This is awful. She's not even behind the cover. And if she's getting shot at from here, she has nowhere to cross to. This D.Va, she's standing in the open. She's baby D.Va. Freelo. Rex, he's in the open. Why? Like, he's got his back against you. He could be here, it's fine, but it's not going to do anything. If he was going up here, it's pretty good shots. Better yet, he could be over here because the monkey isn't going to be here permanently, and if he peeks through here, he has free sightlines on the Mercy. Like, we kind of just lose our head, and look, we're saying we're playing so separated. Does this look like we're playing so separated? This is not separated at all. It's like that loose clump of sand again. Except this time we want to be loose and we're not. I want to be one person here, like a Widowmaker here, Pharaoh Mercy over here, Ball over here. I want to be completely across the entire map. In like the 3 different units. But no, we're all playing on top of each other. And I had to be pretty careful with the long grapples because of the Sombra, but like fundamentally, so now we start to get the right angle, which is great, but then the Nano Monkey comes into the backline. So my guess is that there was misplay here. Yeah, see, he was in too aggro of a position, used his coach gun, and now they're gonna Nano Monkey it, and he can't coach gun him away. And he's tunnel visioning. He just heard a monkey get nanoed. This was his job. When the monkey was here, before he placed down the bubble, Rex needed to be coach gunning. He needed to coach gun the monkey. Like, this is like one of those things where the micro, like, yeah, we shouldn't have been playing all clumped up down here necessarily, and our Mercy definitely shouldn't have been down here when our Pharaoh was over here. But on top of it, the micro failed it too. And my guess is Aeon didn't rock or was too slow on the rock. Yeah, he hears the monkey get nanoed, doesn't look, he just kind of sits here again, and then it's his backline is already dead. We have CC for a reason. The Ashe and the Sig sit on top of the Ana so that they can CC the monkey. That is literally why you are there. And it just is an angle. Like, I'm being super harsh, but like, these micro things matter. I talk about the angles constantly, and they would fix these things, but then they're also fixable by having like the proper reaction to threats. So yeah, we finally started to get the right angles that we needed, and then we kind of just imploded because of some misplay and collecting up on top of each other again. So now I'm taking the wider angle. No, never mind, I'm just kind of botting. That was me feeding. Look at this, this is real, this one hurt me emotionally. Ugh. But like, so here's one of the things with timing. I went in way too early. See, no one's on any angles. No one's ready to do jack. And I'm like hard committing here. I could have gotten hacked by the Sombra if she wasn't here bullying her Ana. And that would have been dead. I mean, I died anyways later. But, point stands, that I was way too early. Like, Ball is like Tracer, where, except in tank form, which is why he suits me pretty well, actually. But then also, if you screw up the timing, you're literally just feeding. So yeah, now we just need to start getting back on angles, holding space again. Don't hard commit. So see, this is finally the angle that I want to see. Because this is like one of those really good aggressive angles. Yeah, I mean, Sombra's slippery. I wouldn't... I pretty much never assume she's dead. She's a hard target. But like, this is the aggressive angle that's really juicy. But then Aftershock is still settling for too little right now. He's shooting at the tank line when there's just this trio of juicy targets out in the open where no one can protect them. Heck, he could rotate all the way around to here even. This is a viable angle. It just takes a stupidly long amount of time to get here, or even here, because you have this vertical cover, and you even have a mini pack down there. Like, you can go on some really drastic angles on Pharah and get away with it because you're literally like undiveable. Aeon is pretty much a-okay in terms of positioning. I've been really happy in terms of his positioning overall. Yeah, it's pretty nice. When you use Tracer and like dudes like that, this side flank can be really useful, or even for recontesting, because you can wrap around here and suddenly have a really good sightline on the back line. And you also get the staircase up to the high ground. So, I finally get back. Ashe is, I don't know. Pharah is fine. Did we bob? Okay, that's fine. But then... I get slapped. But then what's... Aeon should have flexed the monkey, probably. Like I say, Aftershock is finally looking for these shots on this backline, but look, he's getting too aggro. He could die here. There's no vertical cover here. There's no cover period here. If he drops, still dead. If he can't go back, he can't go up and around because you don't go up on Pharah very easily, ironically. You just hold your height. He's getting too greedy. You're playing it like a spam hero, not a dive hero. Like, you need to play it like a spam hero, not a dive hero. Because, like, look at this. Now he's forced out into this low ground when these guys are still standing in the open. Rex finds a good pickoff finally, but look at this aggro positioning. Could he not have done the same thing from right here and be completely safe with just Aeon on the cart? Well, we're kind of all fine over here. This is all fine and dandy. We finally got some really key pickoffs. Their monkey is forced out. Their Ashe is dead. This was a huge opportunity. It's a 6v5. Aeon made the good play here by chasing the monkey, but now I don't even know what happened, actually. Let me just take another look real quick. Yeah, so Aeon actually probably over-pursued the monkey. He should have just left him, because the monkey isn't really that threatening at low HP back here. Spectre got a little too greedy on the positioning. You should have been playing more in here, because then you can actually peek out here to heal, and this is a more useful angle, generally. And he also could have grabbed the mini. Rex is stupidly over aggro. He should have been here or here, just like sitting on the Ana again. But then just gets blasted by this Bob. And that alone loses us a very winnable fight. Especially because look at this now. Look at this. If we had our Ashe and Ana and Sig right here, this Ana is free kill. She's split off from the team. Same with the Sombra. And like if our Pharah is up here in the safe position, neither of these guys are looking at the Pharah anymore. They're looking at the hacked ball. Like it just felt sloppy. Like I say, everyone do their own thing, and it's fine, but then you have to be doing the right thing. Like, it's fine to do whatever in terms of target focus. I don't have to call the targets. I shouldn't have to call positions, though. Everybody needs to know their good positions already, and that's kind of our biggest and most lacking thing as a whole. People don't know naturally where they should be. And even after saying it a lot of times, it doesn't really help because, first of all, only so many people watch the reviews or attend the reviews, and then it's also even harder to actually integrate. Like, we haven't been playing the comp that awfully. We're just really scuffing the plays, because we're at the point when you're like going against diamond teams, people stop making errors. You have to force the errors now. Force the errors. Like, if you have these angles, suddenly it's a forced error to have their Ashe standing in the open like an absolute bot. Or their Ana sitting in this stupid corner, which is an awful position. Like, you can play it when your team is here, but when your team is here, then you need to be here, Ana, because it's where the safety is, or here, or even up here. Like, they're not that good. They are not that good. We are just even more not that good. And they're not going to make the easy errors that are as easily to just sit on and feed. You have to make them into the ones feeding. This is not feeding right now because these guys aren't under any pressure. We don't have any angles, and if we're on dive, it still doesn't do anything because you can't close in a dive on an Ashe who can just coach gun the monkey if the Ashe is paying attention. It's just a fact. Which is why on ball, I'm not just rolling into these guys over and over again until I get desperate, because I'm going to get slept, I'm going to get coach gunned, I'm going to get blasted, and I'm going to do nothing. The ball isn't the one doing most of the work here. It's the DPS on the angles, and then the ball just helps make it so that the Ashe can't fire back at you when like the ball isn't initiating it. It's the fair is a distraction. The ball goes in and distracts the Ashe again, and then the Pharah has a moment of gap again.
60 seconds remaining.
Like, their diva is so absurdly out of position right now. They're so overextended on this on the Pharah. But then Spectre's busy rotating to the high ground. He can just sit down here. He doesn't need the high ground. Monkey is on the high ground. You don't want to be by the monkey. And then Rex is on such a long sightline. This is a Widow sightline. This would be a fine sightline if he was on Widow, but on Ashe, it's not going to do that much. I think it might be a good idea to actually put Rex on the Widow in this comp, because I think it'll come a lot more naturally in terms of the positioning and stuff that he likes to take. Like, look at this. Suddenly, everybody is looking at me. It's unfortunate that I got hit by the sleep, but if our Pharah was under no pressure and could just like poke their head above this, that's free shots on the Ana, who's in this vertical sightline and cannot dodge the rockets, the Ashe, who's poking her head out, the D.Va, who's half and behind. And this is also a great opportunity for Rex if he's on a more aggro angle, and Sigma and everyone to just kill the monkey. But even better would be if Aeon just went for a long-range flux right here, because the Sombra is very clearly not anywhere near him and can't hack him. And the sleep is gone too. If he just flux this whole backline, even if I died, Pharah can just shoot one rocket in here and they all die. Like, we're being super passive with these ults. Look how we have 4 ults. The only thing we used was a Bob to stop a monkey, which was fine, and then a low-end minefield in a fight that was maybe winnable. We have to be more aggressive about cycling these. Don't hold on to them. Look for these big opportunities. Make the clutch plays. Like, I can talk about situations like as a separate video when we could have used our ults in these videos and didn't, or in these things. Like, this is a great flux. That's huge. It forced Volk. It put a lot of pressure on their backline. But once again, look at this. No vertical cover. This is going out in the open. He's getting too greedy. Barrage is a useless ability. Use it to target a single person. What he could have done is he could have flown over, dropped down, solo barraged the Ana. Look at this. Cover, cover. No one could shoot him except maybe the Ashe, who would then be in the barrage. You solo barrage. You cannot shoot. You can't just go in the open and kind of waddle up to these dudes when there's 3 hit scan characters here and kill them all with barrage. I know, because I've tried a lot of times on Fair, and that's why I'm a gold DPS. But like, Aeon is fine. Rex is frankly fine. Doctor is fine. Spectre went up on the high ground where he shouldn't have and got killed by the monkey, where obviously the monkey is going to be, and away from his Ashe and his Sig, who are his only protection against the monkey. And suddenly, a very winnable fight is very losable. And we didn't get to use Barrage. We didn't get to use Nano, which was huge. We should have really been able to use 2 Nanos in this game, but that's just how it is. And now it's lost. 20 seconds isn't enough for a structured fight.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
10 seconds remaining.
Justice.
وريهم قوتك.
Nanohost administered.
وريهم قوتك.
I'm unstoppable.
Yeah, like,
Nerf this.
it was just sloppy.
Suiting up.
They're not some flawless team. It's just we have a lot of flaws and things to work out, and that's okay. And just the question of if we have to work on them.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
Or if we work on them. I'll be back in 1 minute, and then I'm going to take a quick bio break, and then I'll be right back and look at the next phase of this map. Feel free to drop any questions, of course, as usual,
0.
and I'll answer them when I get back.
Initiating match.
Alright, I'm back. I mean, don't think of it as something to be depressing, just think of it as an opportunity. Like, we have a lot of room for growth, and it's very actionable growth. Like, every team has to start somewhere and then say, okay, like, there's nothing wrong with being where you're at in life, or where you're at doing anything. So, like, it's okay to be really scuffed at doing something. What I don't think is okay, personally, is to not want to improve at it if it's something that matters to you. And if it doesn't matter to you, then really I don't feel like you should be doing it, but that's a whole nother story. So, at least most of the team, I know wants to do it, and I know loves this, and I know wants to improve at it. And I mean, hey, that's a great place to start. No better time to start than now. But yeah, it reminds me a lot of my Scrub Cup team though, because I had the same case there of a coach who was very hands off, and I pretty much ended up having to schedule out all the comps and do all of the scouting of enemy teams and all the strats, and then slap it all together. Except that does work there in Scrub Cup because you're playing against gold players who make a lot of unforced errors, and it's pretty easy to punish. Yeah, I mean, you get to kind of poke fun at everyone. It's a good time, just kind of chilling. I'm hoping that I can make this one short enough and that it can actually be rewatched, but which I feel bad for also because it's probably one of my harshest ones, but I mean, hey,
Attackers
I figure
incoming
everyone
in
knows what
30
they're getting
seconds.
into at least when I say that I'm gonna VOD review stuff. Most people have like watched one of mine so far or seen a
5,
bit
4,
of it.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Um,
Payload.
yeah, we played like trash and knew we'd be bad, and that's, yeah, basically. Yeah. We knew it'd be bad. It's like we knew that it probably would not go well. I was hoping for a little more traction than what we got, but yeah. So I'm just trying to look at what we can do better here. I get that you weren't really feeling it on Sigma and swapped to the Zarya. I don't love it. It's fine though. Like it's not like some huge deal. Hog Zarya is still just a fine comp. It just means that we're gonna have a little more brawly presence on the corner instead of a spammy high ground control. Which is why I said we didn't really need high ground control, is we don't have anyone here who can actually control the high ground. Like, who's gonna control it? Ash, she can contest it for a bit, and maybe coach gun some like one person off of it, but it sure isn't holding it. Zarya gets like one bubble's worth. Pharah has nothing defensive, same with Mercy. Ana is fine because our team is up here. This is a good position. I'm glad that he's there. I know I said it was trash when the other Ana was in it, but that's because she was in front of it, and because her team was holding here rather than like all the way up here. But then, like the only person who can maybe hold the high ground here is Hog, and what is a Hog gonna do on the high ground? He's getting no value. Hog wants the flanks, right? Like the problem is if you're hooking from the high ground, it's really hard to get the one shot because you're not at, like it's hard to get the pellets all hitting. Hog really wants to be watching this flank and this flank. He's an off tank. Like he plays like Sigma, and double off tank wants to play like a spam comp. That's just how it is. So it's basically Aeon saves his bubbles for if someone's in severe danger, gets a little bit of charge, and then just spams from like here or something, or here, and then I'm kind of spamming from here, and we're kind of just vibing and spamming and getting kills, hopefully. So see, like this is where I wanted Shock from the start. I'm glad that he was here on defense, though, at least. So Rex is on like this tight angle, and it's fine they coach gunned up here for safety, but it's like, it's just he's not gonna be getting any angles here. Like if he had been here, he would have been able to shoot this hog several times in the nose already. And now this is becoming a bad position because their Widow has had time to rotate up to top, and there's now literally no safe time for Spectre to rotate. Like, he cannot get across this safely anymore. Especially because we don't have a Sigma to even block off the sightlines temporarily. So that's why I usually kind of, like, I start here for like a little bit, and I start on here, on this block, because then you can already duck behind it. You don't have to cross this gap. And then you can kind of usually get to here before they get their sniper fully set up and undistracted, and then you can rotate to like here. And then this is like a much safer sightline for when you're over like doing a closer hold. Yeah, so like this is all fine. We have our DPS on the off angle, beautiful. We have me kind of vibing around here, watching the angles a little bit, keeping things steady, beautiful. You're up here. This is entirely fine. Zarya's great on the high ground. She can help hold it a little bit and check it and keep it off if they don't commit resources. Force off a diva, spam. Hey, that sounds great. Rex could stand to be a little more aggro. Like this would be a really good spot for him right now. Up here or down here. Just like anywhere that's not exposed to the Widow, but does have sightlines where you know they're going to be coming in. But he's not feeding right now in terms of positioning, so that's still fine. That was too aggro. Like, you didn't need to jump there. Like, your job isn't to pursue kills on defense. Your job is to play for time. So until they push in, there's no reason to do anything. Like, I saved it, basically, by hooking the Roadhog, because that took a lot of pressure off of you, and gave you a lot of charge, which is great, too. But that was entirely coincidental that I managed to hook the hog while you were getting hooked, too. Like, it wasn't some, like, genius baiting thing from my end, no. So just be a little careful with the timing on when you're doing the poke. See? And this is still fine. Like, this was really good focus fire, but then Aftershock also abandoned his position. He could have hit the hog just as many times from over here. He's a huge target. Yeah, closing the distance on Pharah can help if you're playing in like a more divey style, but we're playing in a spammy style. There's no reason to close the distance. You're just going for like, it's like an aerial Junkrat who can just be on better angles. Like, there's no reason to do anything here now. Force their diva off. Beautiful, beautiful. And you got the DMAC. Outstanding. So now we just set up in the angles again, and we're all happy. I'm just chilling here.
Hello. Here it comes.
So they changed up the comp, so now they're on something divey instead of spammy, because they weren't really breaking our spam with their spam. So now they're on dive. Now we have to look out for isolated targets, and we have to play a little further back or closer together. Which sounds stupid, but it's not. First of all, now that they're not on Widow, well, actually no, they still have the damage boost dash, but like look, Spectre's still stuck here. This is dangerous because when a monkey can't close the distance in a single jump, like he lands like about here, that's still enough to completely block Spectre in and like bubble him off. Rex needs to be like up here or by the Ana, somewhere, just like literally somewhere where he can coach gun the monkey and be like far enough away. Because if the monkey can jump on top of you, you're too close. It doesn't really affect Aftershock and Doctor. And then me and Aeon, we should kind of just be buddying up together now. Because you have to play like a little more brawly, a little more close together. Because Zarya is actually a dive target. Because her bubble just gets burnt really fast. Like, it's just like Sigma, where he's a pretty easy dive target, because they only have 400 HP. We are playing on a fine angle right now, too. Like, that is great positioning. Like, look at this. Rex is in the open. He's in the open down here. He's not in a position to coach someone away. Their diva is feeding. But then Rex also just burned both of our bubbles as resources, and then gets blasted. And then look. Exactly this. The monkey comes over here and bubbles down our trapped Ana. This is the catalyst that we lost the fight from. We knew that there was a dive that was going to happen. We didn't preempt it or rotate into positions beforehand and to deal with it. It would have been pretty easy to, in all honesty. We had all the tools we needed against a dive. We have the coach gun, we have the ally bubbles, we have my hook. We have the Pharah and Mercy are undivable, and we have Sleep Dart. We have a myriad of options that we could have used to handle this, and we just failed. And then that's just how it is, and that's okay, but it just, we need to be thinking about that more.
Victory.
Are you guys able to see how long the VOD review has gone yet? Or maybe maybe I can see... Actually, I should be able to see in Streamlabs. 55 minutes. So I think I'm going to end it here instead of looking at Numbani, just because I want it to be like a chunk of a video that's at least vaguely watchable for people. Because I kind of want this to be homework assignment, or at least the Rialto map. So, yeah, any questions from anyone about any of the maps, or just in general with what happened with the scrims or whatnot? I'll probably do Numbani tomorrow or some other day. So. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, I mean that's the spirit.
One shot, one kill.
Double kill. Double kill.
Okay, well that's a wrap then on the stream. Have a good night, everyone.